Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and today we're taking a look at a game that came out earlier on Steam today called Strategic Mind Fight for Freedom. Now, I don't know anything about this game. I literally just jumped right in. I didn't do much research, and I didn't even barely read the darn Steam store page or even look at that. Why did I do this? I don't know. I just love World War II stuff, especially games and movies. So, I was really excited about this game, but like I said, I didn't really look at it a whole lot before I got into it. So this game is developed and published by Starny Games, who seem to do a whole heck of a lot of games like this. So that means that they must be pretty good, right? Well, that's a good question. I'm honestly stumped. I haven't really been this stumped in a really long time. I guess in a way it does what it sets out to do, but boy, is that Steam store page lying to you. I mean, okay, look, you're gonna see the gameplay here in a minute if you're not already seeing it. So, I mean, look at this. I mean, just look at this. Look at all this. You see all this? See this jumbled mess before you right now? See all this stuff? That's the majority of your gaming experience. This is pretty much what you're going to be doing like the whole time you're playing. Everything you're going to see in this video, this is the majority of your playthrough. My first hour of this playthrough was this, and I didn't even get through the level yet. So this is what you're going to be doing. It's a garbled, jumbled mess of information, assets, and warlike stuff just going on, but no real organization. But look, hey, I want to go into this more in depth because, I just need to, so I can get the information out to you guys in a timely and somewhat intelligible way, because I'm kind of stumped. I need to write out my thought process as I'm doing it, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to keep my thoughts clear. And just to be clear at the beginning, before we get into the worst of this, it's not that I hate this game. That's not it at all. Okay, it's just I'm trying to say what I got to say, and I'm passionate about video games. Okay, so don't think I'm coming at this evil or angry or hate-filled or nothing, because that's not what this is. By the way, this game is not in early access, and it is asking for $30. Now, I'm going to go into the positives first. Number one, the game has a lot of detail, and I mean a lot of detail. We're going into stuff like how nighttime negatively affects your unit's accuracy and damage outputs. We're talking all your planes have fuel and all your units have ammo, so you need to watch them all and all these stats carefully. We're talking naming your troops, having them level up, and needing to be upgraded the way you want them to be, or even outfitted the way you want them to be, and the list just goes on. There is so much detail here that if you're looking for a gritty, super realistic, and super complicated warlike simulator, this is a really good fit. Number two, the length of the game. Maybe. I say maybe because I always say that I should get at least an hour of gameplay for every $5 I pay you for your game. So, for this game, I should get at least a solid 6 hours of gameplay, right? Well, can I get 6 hours of gameplay? I don't know. I only played it for one and still didn't beat that first level before needing to come and write this script. So, yeah, I think you'll get your money's worth in terms of length for this game. So, I mean, that's really good. I like that a lot. Number three, the game's stability, surprisingly. This game worked pretty well. No real bugs or glitches that I found. I mean, I did have one where my plane clearly had ammo and fuel, yet he couldn't attack another plane. They were right next to each other, no aircraft guns nearby or anything. So I don't know. In other words, from what I could tell, there was no reason why they couldn't be fighting each other, yet they weren't. It was odd, it was weird, and the two just stared at them for the rest of my time playing through that level. They just stared at each other, never doing anything. So besides that, everything else worked really fine, but that was just a really funny bug. I wish I had caught it on camera, but whatever. Anyway, that's all I got for positives. So, yeah, did that sell you on it? Yes? No? Well, if not, then you're probably not going to like this game. Also, if you are a fan of this game, or this company, or this genre, please don't rage at me. I am merely stating opinions as I see them from my perspective, alright? Okay, now before we go into all the negatives this game has, let me please pathetically beg you to support my tiny channel. Please, 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 please. It doesn't inconvenience you or harm you in any way, but it helps me out a lot. Please, 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 please. A like, a comment, and a subscription are all I ask to help support me. Please, 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 please. Now, thank you very much. Okay then. So the first negative that I discovered was the sound effects and voice acting. It was immediate and hilarious. Hilarious in being pretty bad is what I mean. All the sound effects were just off. I mean, they sounded correct, but they just sounded like they were recorded wrong. I don't know much about sound design, but I do know that the sound effects here sound kind of like maybe they were recorded on a different machine than added in here. Like, it's kind of like you're listening to a game on your computer and it sounds fine, but then you record it with your cell phone to send to someone else, and the audio sounds, you know, like secondhand audio. That's kind of what this sounds like here. They don't have any depth to them. No spine-shattering, skin-tingling sounds happening in this war game. And the voice acting? Well, in some rare instances, it sounds really appropriate and well done. But the rest of the time, it sounds like someone badly trying to sound legitimate and failing. And the worst part is the voice acting is always there, never goes away, and it's cliche to the point of being cringe in some cases. And I'm just talking, for that one, I'm just talking about like the troops and what they say over and over again. Like, it's just, it's to the point where it's almost cringe. That's what I mean. As for the other voice acting, like the officers, the generals, or whatever, half the voices look like they fit, the other half look like someone's very clearly trying to pretend to be something else. So it wasn't the best. It was not the best. That's the best way I can put it. The second negative is the graphics, and let me be fair, while they aren't terrible, they aren't really good either. At least during the war times. Even the cutscenes look a little bit dated. I don't want to go on too long about this because they weren't that bad, but they weren't that good either. Just slightly below average, I think. Maybe a 4 is what I would have to say. A high 4 in terms of graphic, you know, stability and attention to detail stuff. Number 3, this one is tricky. It's the lack of a tutorial, but it's rather the horrible tutorial that they have placed in their game is more like it. If you know me, you know how I feel about tutorials. Someone make me a tutorial game and I'll give it a glowing review. Anyway, this game, well, I mean, I guess I can't get too mad because they did technically add a tutorial here, but they did it in the most boring and lazy way possible. I mean, it's in the main menu before starting the game, which, okay, I guess, but I hate it when games do that because that means it doesn't connect to the game at all. And this one is taught to you in just a really boring, uncaring, unimportant way, which, by the way, do you see me playing right now how I'm kind of doing alright? Yeah, that's without any tutorial experience whatsoever and just me figuring it out on my own. It's not that hard. So why was the tutorial so needlessly complicated and boring and annoying and just out of the way and just blah? Just even me, someone who always tries to attack tutorials to at least try to experience them, was just blown away by how boring and uncaring and how I didn't want to be a part of this one's tutorial at all. The next negative I got, number 4, the boring gameplay. Now I'm not really saying that the game is boring. It was to me, I suppose. But you know, it's kind of slow. It's awkward. It's too complicated at some points to be worth it. It just I don't know. It's just awkward. I think that's the best way to put it. Something just felt off with it. Something felt slow and just bland. I mean, this game just made me want to play Civilization, or made me want to play Company of Heroes 2, games that are way better in terms of their World War II style combat. I mean, the combat simulations, here, watching them fight each other, it's too fast with too little detail. The statistics are a bit too confusing, and they don't really add up sometimes. Like, why are these things happening? Why is this here? Why are things not happening? There's no real explanation as to why. You just have to trust that the game is adding things up correctly. You know, it's like, okay, I realized that at nighttime my guns were not hitting and they weren't doing a lot of damage, but it doesn't make any sense. We're talking, I shot you with an anti-aircraft gun at night. Missing you the first shot, that makes sense, but when I hit you the second shot and did 0 damage, you freaking explain that one to me, game, but they don't. For some reason, my anti-aircraft bullets just bounced off those aircraft like they were nothing, with no reason why. I get being dark can hurt your accuracy, but how does it make you invulnerable to damage? That doesn't make any sense. So these are the kind of things that were just everywhere. No real explanations for a lot of things of why they're happening. Like, your guys can run out of ammo. Great. When they run out of ammo, what happens? Well, you got to put them in your supply area so they can get their ammo back. Okay, that makes sense. Where's the supply area? You're not going to show me, are you? Nope, not going to show me. I have to just assume where the supply area is. So I move my troops to the areas I assume are supply areas, and nothing happens. And I'm sitting here scratching my head going, why the heck are they not reloading their ammo? What's happening here? Oh, I got to wait till the end of the turn. Okay, I'll end my turn. Come back again, still no ammo. ammo. Okay, so I think I've got them in the supply area, and I ended my turn, and they're still not reloading their ammo. So what do I got to do? Oh, turns out I need to secure this beachhead over here. Then I got to secure basically a trade route from this direction all the way over to that direction over there, so that way they can, you know, have reloading or whatever. Okay, well, let's go secure that beachhead. I secure that beachhead, and then is there any sign, any symbols, anything to signify that that area is now a supply station? No, nothing. Just same as always. You just have to lock that in your memory. Oh, okay, that's a supply station now. So all I got to do is connect them and they'll be good to go. But there's no indication. There's no sign on the map in the game that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing right. It's all left up entirely to your imagination. Which, in a game that has so much detail and so much information, why would they leave something so important like that out of the freaking field of view? Wow, I just went on one heck of a tangent there that had nothing to do with anything and was not a part of my script at all. But basically, there was just no real explanation. Just overall, the gameplay was definitely lacking, at least in the combat strategy section you're kind of looking at here. I didn't really get past this section, so if there's anything else making this game awesome that I didn't get to see yet, then sorry, I didn't get to see it yet. I've always said, if you're going to put a game up on Steam, you have to put that game out, and the first 2 hours have got to be the absolute best your game has to offer. Because otherwise, people like me who don't get it, who aren't long-term fans, and who don't have the patience or don't have the money to waste on something they're not sure about are going to get a refund. And to make my point relevant, I'm going to do exactly that. Look, you guys who watch me, if you've been following me, then you know. And if you don't follow me and you're new here, I am always brutally honest. I don't lie, I don't exaggerate, I don't mislead. I always say it as honestly as I am aware of at the time. I'm not specially trained or educated. I'm just your average everyday guy. I'm a husband, father, son, and brother. And all I can say is that for me, I mean, I've worked, you know, I've had real jobs in the past. You know, I've done a lot of things. I've gone through a lot in life. I'm just a regular guy. And I'm telling you, this regular guy, within the first hour of playing, I was bored. I was confused, and I was annoyed. And there was absolutely no frickin' way I was going to sit through that grandpa-styled, old man kind of boring tutorial, where it's not much of a tutorial for a game, but more like a Wikipedia or a how-to video on how to play. No thanks. I mean, if they could just tighten up the little details in the graphics, maybe, update the quality of the sound effects, maybe lose the voice acting, give us more interesting fighting animations, maybe make them a little slower and more in-depth, and also give us some less clutter on the maps overall, and, you know, like in Star Wars Empire at War, they have those little tabs that you can click, and it can give you more information, or it can hide more information. At least that way, then you can kind of see everything, and then as you get more comfortable with the game, you can add more information, so it starts off very little cluttered, so you can kind of just get into it and learn your way around, and then as you get better at the game, you can add more information, which clutters it up, but by that point, you're more used to it. You know what I mean? Like, they could have done that. And, you know, maybe if they had done those things, maybe this game would have been pretty cool to play. You know, I love me a good strategy game, and I love World War II stuff. I said that in the beginning. But even my love of those two genres will not spare this game from the refund button. And for those of you out there who are thinking, you only played it for an hour, how could you possibly review it? Well, to that, I quote a clever fan of mine who said in response to someone else who said that, you don't need to eat shit for longer than 5 seconds to realize you're eating shit. It's the same here. I don't need to play longer than an hour to know that I'm playing something that I'm not going to enjoy. I have 20 years of experience playing video games, and I'm talking like almost addictively, obsessively playing video games for 20 years. I've seen everything there is. When I see something new and innovative, I will recognize it and talk about it. When I see something that's engaging and fun, I will recognize it and talk about it. Now here again, I will say that this might just not be my type of game, and if you're watching this and listening to this and you still think it'll be fun and for you, then by all means, go play it and enjoy it. I hope you do. It's not my kind of thing, and I'm just telling you why I didn't like it. If you want my recommendation, then here it is. If you want a good strategy World War II game, then go somewhere else. This will pass and be forgotten. But if you want a World War II game that doesn't focus on the combat, doesn't focus on the immersive or storytelling elements of the war, doesn't really focus on individuality or the realities of war, and one that has a whole heck of a lot of information for micromanaging, personalization, and customization while taking a more broad, overall view of the war, then this game is definitely for you. And you know what? That's just it. I think I finally realized it. The only good thing it offers in this World War II game is a completely different viewership of how you partake in these war games. You are a leader. So you have meetings with leaders. You see the troops as pieces on a board, and not as people. You see their stats, their ammo, their fuel, their experience. You grant them equipment based on their experience and time of service, but you don't know them. You don't experience the war with them. And it's all just kind of like a board game. I guess that's what this is. So I suppose if you're looking for a simulator where you play as a general during World War II, with the combat aspects being heavily watered down and the strategic overall look being greatly increased, then sure, I guess this isn't too bad in that regard. It does a really good job of it. I mean, it still needs a little bit of work, but that is who this game is for. And if that sounds like you, then definitely go check it out. It could be a lot of fun for you. But if you're looking for something with more in-depth, more interaction, more immersion, maybe more epic battles kind of stuff, you're going to want to look elsewhere. If you're looking for something faster paced with a deeper impact, look somewhere else. This isn't your typical strategy game, and don't go into it thinking that it is. And don't trust that Steam store page. It's full of lies. I mean, technically they tell the truth in some ways, and technically they lie in some ways. So just don't trust that. Alright, go watch my video, go watch other people's videos. Don't trust that. So that's all the time I got for this episode, everybody. That was a long one. I did not mean to make it this long. I hope you found this video entertaining or at least informative. If you did, please support my channel by hitting that like button, writing a comment, or subscribing to my channel. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.